Hey, everybody. I love that fancy intro. I hope you do too. It's kind of fun. Hello, everybody. It's Kate Richbourg. It's Wednesday, October 4th. We are ready to masterclass it up, right? Yeah, that's the special intro that I do for the masterclass. So I need to make an intro for our regular. I know it's kind of fun, right? I don't know. Me and Canva have been becoming good friends for sure. So it's great to have you all here. As I said, it's episode 5 of our masterclass. We've got this episode, then one more episode to go, and then the masterclass on advanced stringing techniques will be complete. So it's great to see all of you all here today. Janice is saying we've got some new viewers. So thank you, JP. Pardon me for saying hello and greeting everybody over on YouTube. Lynn, welcome. It's great to have you here. I hope that you enjoy what you see here. And for those of you who are returning viewers, it's great to see all of you all here. Christine is asking, will the Lakeview mix be restocked? Not yet, but I know that a lot of you have been asking for Lakeview, so it's on our list because I know a lot of you really love it. And we also are restocking our Melange mix, our October mix, because that one sold out in less than a day. So I have it coming. It should be, I don't know, another couple weeks or so. Watch your newsletters. You'll see that restock. Let's take a look and see who all is here. So many of you, I'm going to take some water here. It's great to have you here. And we also, our buddy Ellen is watching. We're going to have a meeting with Ellen. Ellen is going to be doing some social media and stuff for us. So it's great to have you aboard. We're going to be meeting tomorrow to hammer out some strategy. Ellen is there. It's great to see all you all. Let's see here. What else have we got? And then we'll get to the project. Okay, so I've got to keep an eye on the comments. I've got to keep an eye on my project, keep an eye on you, keep an eye on everything. Okay, so let me show you what we've got here. So today, as a thank you, today is, what did I say, Wednesday, October 4th. If you're watching this live, friends, you will see that I made just a viewer only. It's not in the newsletter. It's not, oh, let me not do a banner. Let me do a banner, not a ticker. It's not in the newsletter. It's not anywhere else on any other social. It's only for this broadcast and the viewers of this broadcast. If you watch it live or sometime today until midnight Pacific time tonight, today is 10/4/23. You can use code episode 5, all one word, and 5 has to be spelled out, not the number 5, but episode 5. It's right down there on the banner. Use it at checkout and you can save 25% on stuff that we use in this epic necklace. Ceylon, vintage finds, tribal and trade, and what we call gem and earthstones. That's our semi-precious collection. You'll save 25%. Use that code episode 5 at checkout and you'll save. Ceylon, it's a great time to add to your Ceylon collection. I'm going to talk about that there. So that's that for you folks. I'm going to add my overhead camera, there we go, to the mix. And let me tell all of you all that you can find, as usual, you know the drill. Whoops, let me take this banner off though. There we go. You can find us all over social, Facebook, Insta, Pinterest. Hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube, whether you're watching now live or you're watching it on a replay. And if you have any questions, hit us up at info@beadshop.com. You can also find us all over, wherever social media is. We are there at beadshop.com. The other thing I wanted to mention for you folks is, let me turn this banner back, or this slide back off. There we go. The monthly mixes, we talked a little bit about a monthly mix comeback and doing kind of the best of each monthly mix from the last 7 years. Stay tuned to your newsletters. I have all the beads for them. They're going to debut sometime November, December, in time for the holidays. So stay tuned for the newsletter for that. And I'll flash the, let me do this real quick. The coupon code is, again, episode 5, good until tonight only, on beadshop.com. You can also, there's a playlist on our YouTube channel. If this is the first episode you're watching of the masterclass series, you can go back and watch episodes 1 through 4. And then this episode 5 will be added to it. And then we'll do one more episode in November, and that will wrap it all up, literally. We're going to skip masterclass for December, and then we'll start 2024 with a fresh masterclass the first Wednesday of every month. And that's going to focus on ladder bracelets to make you the best ladderer that you can be. Okay. And if you have ideas for other masterclasses, I'd love to hear them. I'd love, love, love to hear them. Let's take a look again real quick at some of the comments here. Gosh, so many people are here, and so many people, your eagle eyes have seen this necklace. Let me tell you a little bit about this, and let me solo this and show you what I've got here. Let me take this jumble off for a minute. As you know, friends, the Great Bead Extravaganza is coming up. It starts, I believe, on the 20th of October. This year it's our Fall Fest. And that's the 20th, I think, is the preview night. And then it goes through the 20th is the preview night, then it's the 21st and the 22nd. This is the kit that I did for you for the Fall Fest. It's going to come out that week of, probably it'll drop that Friday, the 20th. I'll show it again on that Free Tip Friday, and then I'll do the demo for it on my segment during the Great Bead Extravaganza, and I'm on that Saturday. And I'll pull up, we've got the schedule all done for you folks. So we'll post it in our newsletter as well as in the group, and you can go over to the Great Bead Extravaganza page and see that. So this is kind of a smaller masterclass necklace, but the kit will have everything in it. I'll talk a little bit more pardon me, as we get to it. We're putting the kits together now. Chris and I are. Pardon me, sorry. Let me get some more water. Not enough talking yet today. My voice has not warmed up. Go from the diaphragm, take it from deep inside. Get that theater training. But I think it's going to be fun. I've used wax linen for this because I haven't strung anything on wax linen in a while. And I've had these really beautiful African beads in my back pocket for a while. So I thought I would roll them out for the Great Bead Extravaganza. So you'll be seeing this again. I wanted to wear it today because it really does kind of tie in to, and I'm glad you folks love it. Thank you. Sometimes stringing a single strand like this is harder than stringing a multi-strand like our masterclass necklace project. Okay. Something like this, you can throw everything at it, right? You can throw all of it, right? All the beads, all the colorways, just kind of have it be literally a string of consciousness, right? with this, but something like this, when you tone it down into a single strand, each bead is seen, right? Balance, the way that, I mean, I had trouble figuring out where I wanted to put this round bead versus these two saucer beads. I'm going to talk more about this when we do this necklace for the Great Bead Extravaganza. But you can see they have kind of the same feel of them, right? The same kind of kind of organic feeling, but wherever you fall on the spectrum of single strand all the way up to multiple strand, it just depends on what you want to do. So every single bead for this kit will be included, including the carnelian disc and this really beautiful brass piece that I found. It's going to be gorgeous for that. We're going to do this closure. And so this will be coming up. Okay, I'm going to put this back on and let's move on to this one. So here's the piece. Where we left off is this guy here. And let me, what we're going to be working on today is we're going to be working on balance, finishing the stringing, and tapering up to the end. Okay, because remember, this is episode 4 that we're working on. So this is where we've left it. And I want to talk about, actually, I want to take this necklace off and let me put this necklace on real quick. And let's start talking about length. So I'm going to add myself back to the shot here. And let me put this on. Now, something like this, I need to not look at the camera because I confuse myself here. The way that I want this to hang, probably, let me get a little lower here. Let me pull this end up. Don't look at the camera, Kate, just look at it. There we go. I want it to sit about right here, okay, on me. So I'm going to get my tape measure. I'm going to hold it. I actually need one of you to come over right now and help me measure. But I've got my tape measure here, and let's measure together, shall we? Gosh, the back of I need to clean all of this. I keep cleaning and it just keeps getting messy. Let me show you. I know I'm kind of cut off, but I want you to see the whole necklace here. I need, on this side, I really only have about 6 more inches, really, to go of beadwork. Okay, so now I need to make some decisions. Oh, on my way. Perfect. Get over here, Michelle. I'll see. It'll take you, I don't know. You could be here by tomorrow morning for sure. Let me put this back down and let's take a look here at what 6 more inches of beading is really going to look like. And this is about even here. 6 looks like about here. And that's also with the closure. Okay. And I think for the closure, what I'm going to use is that bead, that long kind of bicone. And Janice, we need to make sure that we've got some of these in stock for next time. I think we do. I think I've checked it. It's in our Tribal and Trade. But this is the one that I think I'm going to use for my closure. Though I may change my mind between now and then. You never know. But I need something that's kind of long, right? This would also work. This one here would be very pretty as the closure. So something like that, or a button. We could use a button. We could use this kind of square type of bead, but I'm gonna play around. That's for next month, me to figure out. What this month me needs to figure out is how do we want to finish this? Now here, what I have is strands on this side. I've got 2, 4, 5, and I think this is the regular Ceylon and the fine Ceylon here. And I think I've got fine over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've got regular and fine here too. I think what I want to do, this is feeling not as balanced here, right? Let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see this a little bit better. Let me do this. Oh, and just a reminder, folks, here in the US, if you're watching in the US, they're doing like a national test of the emergency system today on October 4th. So it's pushing to all phones and everything that's online, it's going to push to. So and it's going to happen at 11:20 Pacific time, 2:20 Eastern. So that's about 20 minutes from now. So if something goes funny or we get a big noise or whatever, I have all of my do not disturb turned on all my devices. But if you hear that, that's what that is, and I'll try and deal with it and turn it off. But I wanted to make sure and set myself a mental reminder for that. So I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take, I think, maybe this strand, whichever one is longer. They're both about the same length. I'm going to take this strand and run it back down right here. Okay, so I can weave this back in because they're not quite the same thickness. And maybe I'll add, if I need to, I'll tie on another thread and pull that down like that. But for now, let me get some larger beads. This is the way I like to close off, especially when I'm doing these necklaces kind of as a class demo, right? If I'm doing these on my own, sometimes I like to do a little more of the multi-strand going up towards the back. But let me show you some necklaces right now from my collection, and maybe we can get some inspiration from that. Because like I say, you can go this multi-strand like all the way up to the back. But I feel like there's a lot going on here with this thing. So maybe I want to rest my eye a little bit more as I go up. I don't know. So let me show you some of these pieces here that I might glean some inspiration from. This is a piece I made, I don't know, these are old pieces. This one is probably, I don't know, at least 20 years old, I would guess, thereabouts. This is a big, I think it's German glass, this hollow. It might be Venetian, but it may also be German. It's a big hollow bead like this. And I paired it. We used to carry these. I wish I could find these again. We used to carry these in the brick and mortar bead shop. It's those flat agate beads that we used to get by the strand. We had just a ton of them. We used to get them from our African traders. I don't see them as much anymore. Maybe I can find some in Tucson for you, but they're really gorgeous. So tapering down from a multiple strand like this to a single strand, there's a little bit of an art in it. You want it to be balanced. You want it to be comfortable around the back of your neck. If you have short hair like I do, I want it to be as beautiful as it is in the front as well as in the back. So if I just lay this down here, I think that the scale, these beads are a little big for that, or all of these type of beads without any breaks, right? This all has kind of the same size to it. Let me pull something else here. You folks have seen this one. You've seen me wear this one. This uses a lot of pieces that we have here at Beadshop. I can utilize and do something that's kind of asymmetrical. These are some of our recycled glass beads here. These are from my personal collection. These are some more of our vintage finds. This one's from my personal collection. But I could use something like this where I do the two on the back, not symmetrical, so they don't match, but they are just single strands. That would look really nice. I could do that. Let me see what else I have here. This is a piece. You've seen this before, but I'm going to pull this back out. This has Padres and some other, like our Ashanti saucers and stuff like that. You could, take this type of look all the way up if you wanted and make it multiple strand all the way around the back. That would look good as well, I think. So it just depends on what you want to go with. Let me see if I have another sample here for you to look at. Hang on, let me grab that. I'm muted. Sorry about that. Let me take that back. I don't know what happened to that, but sound is back. Sorry, let me tell you. So something like this is vintage Tibetan turquoise, old Tibetan turquoise that's here. And let me know if the sound has come back, folks. I unmuted, so we should be good. This is an old Afghani piece. This piece is probably, I don't know, at least 100 years old, maybe a little bit more. But doing something like this in just a plain color would also work out really, really well. Okay. And the scale and size, you could go larger like this, smaller, whatever. So I think this has given me some inspiration. And I know that I'm going to come back down and maybe make another strand here with some other big strands. So let me leave one of these out. I want to unify this somehow by putting the same bead here, right? Like this. I know I am teasing you with all my vintage beads. Sorry about that. Lorraine. I know. I know. I do have a pretty big vintage bead collection. In the Great Bead Extravaganza, the last unit for Saturday, I'm going to do a special presentation on bead storage and organization. So that'll be on the calendar. It's the last show of the day. We like to do kind of a surprise kind of thing or a special thing. So this time it's my turn to do it. So I'm going to talk about color and bead organization and stuff. So you'll see a real behind the scenes kind of thing with that. And I'll mention it as we get a little closer to our Fall Fest. So I like this size bead. I like it on there. Let's see though where that's going to hit on me, because it may or may not be right, depending. Is this it's a little off. Let me try and focus this. I know, all of a sudden I'm not focused. Let me see. There we go. I think that's better. Let me put this up on me just real quick. Let me get me in here. So again, So see where that big bead is hitting right at the side of my neck? I don't like it. It's too big. Too big. If it were lower, if I were making this lower or whatever, or if this was closer in the back, but like this bead, like right here at my neck, it makes me feel a little goitery. You know what I mean? All right. So that's not the right bead. Not the right bead. It's all right. Let's go and find the right bead. I love these though. This would be great down low here, down low here. Maybe I'll incorporate it over here on this side as I string down. Maybe that wouldn't look bad, right? Goitery. I know. I know. It's true. Okay, so maybe that'll happen there. But up here, I also like the idea of doing this asymmetrically so that the beads don't really match. Does that make sense to you? I have a few of these precious, like I showed you in that necklace. I have a few of these precious agate nuggets that are my personal stash that I might use. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my voice today. Hopefully it will pass. Thank you for your patience with my voice issues today. Maybe this flatter one might go actually because they're flat. They don't stick out. Maybe this. I like that. I love these sand cast. I also have some of these. So let's just string it, right? I can't tell until I string. So let's gather these together. Okay. I'm going to pull all of these strands. I don't need all 4 of these. So I'm going to leave out one here. This one comes together. I'm going to put another bead on here because I need to bring them together somehow. Like this. And how about these recycled glass tides out, I think we call them, because they look like beach glass. I like those a lot. Also a good time to use an Ashanti saucer, which I have right here. I'm going to bring all these together. And this one. Okay. There we go. This strand I'm going to leave out because I may use it. Okay? So I'm going to tie all of these together in a knot. I want to bring them together. Because I also may reduce my strands here. I don't think I need this gray strand here, but I also don't like to cut anything off yet. So I'm going to bring those 2 down, leave them over here, and then let's keep stringing. Let's stick with this for a minute. Okay? Let me just string how I feel. I don't know if that sounds weird to you or not, but sometimes you just have to put things on and see how they look. I like that. I've got some more, some pretty nice beads over here. Let me grab them. I have See, here's kind of my box with all of our kind of tribal and trade kind of things here. Let me grab these wood bicones. We still have some of our wood beads. Not a lot, but we have some of them. Check them out. See what you like. I'm going to get some fresh ones when I go to Tucson. I already have our Tucson place booked. Christine's ready to come with me. We're ready to have some good times. Here's some of our carved bone that we've had. I might throw in, I think we still have some of these carved wood hearts. What else do I have in here that I like them all. I can't really choose. I have, this is called Wanderlust, I think. I might put this down in the body of the piece over here. And just because we're finishing it up here doesn't mean I can't add more stuff down here. Okay. Let me do this. I really like the way that looks. I've got another one of these bicones over there. Here's an Ashanti saucer in blue. Another one of these. This would make a nice closure, a nice clasp. The thing about this necklace is you can add to your collection of this stuff. Remember when I made this little droplet way back when I was showing the beads? Look at that little nun designed bee. I could also add that in over here to the dangles if I wanted. I'm going to leave this out and I'm going to leave that out over there. What else do I have? These hands. If we don't have the hands in, we'll be getting them back in. That's a real pretty one that I could nestle in there. This is like all the fine tuning, right? This is when the fine tuning starts to come in. Let's see. Also these really beautiful, the lotus charms that we got in. I think we might still have a few of those. I can put that in the back if I wanted. All right, so let me just keep stringing here. And I want to show you, we're always looking for the right needle for this, right? Well, let me show you. I'm actually going to make a needle today. And usually when we make our needles, we use this 34 gauge to make needles. I'm also going to make a needle that's a little bit of a heavier gauge by using either some 26. I think maybe I'm going to use 26 gauge for it. I could also use 28. I'm wrestling through my wire here. I don't really see any 28. Also, we could use, I'll show you some softlet here. Let's see. I'll use that. That's you could also though substitute 28 gauge for it. So using all of these pieces here, let me zoom out a bit. And speaking of Softlex, friends, I want to thank you. You might have seen in our newsletter last week, we shared the GoFundMe for our buddy, Sarah Ayler. Her husband, Josh, has an inoperable brain tumor that they're trying to deal with. He just had some exploratory biopsy yesterday. I don't know if you go to her Caring Bridge. You can go to Sarah's personal Facebook page, find out all about it. But you folks really came through and donated to her GoFundMe. So a big thank you on behalf of Sarah for that. Thank you for that. she and Joshua are home, and they're moving along to next steps. So big shout out, big love to our buddies over at Softflex. So thank you so much for that. So here is the 26 gauge that we've got here. And I'm going to fold it in half like this. I'm going to stick my finger in the loop, and I'm just going to twist. So this is going to be like our flexible eye needles, only a lot larger. See that there? There's my needle that I've created. I'm going to come in, I'm going to use my memory wire cutter to cut it. So I've got this needle here. Here's that 34 gauge that we carry to make a really skinny needle. We sell this specifically for that. 34 gauge. Let me cut it. It's super thin, but I do the same thing with it. I make that loop. I stick my index finger in there. I grasp it between my thumb and index finger of my left hand. And I do this. I point up to the sky, down to the ground, up to the sky, down to the ground. And that's what twists this needle and gets there nice and tight. This is a Janice Parsons trick that I learned from JP years ago before the plethora of wire needles that are available to us now. We kind of had to make our own. So here it is with the 34 gauge. There it is with the 26. You could also use 28. Oh, there it is. There's that alert. Sorry about that. Let me see if I think it went off. Okay. All right. It went off a little early, looks like. So hopefully that's all of the alert. So sorry about that. Okay, so here is the 34 gauge and the 26 gauge. I also grabbed some Softflex. Where did I put it? I had it here, and then I moved it. Here it is. You could also use Softflex. This is the medium, I think, the 0.019, the medium. You could cut a small piece like this and just hold it together, right? String your string material through the loop right here. And you can string a whole bunch of strands through there. And then you could just string both of those Softflex strands through, and that'll help you get that thread through like that. Okay, so those are some of the different ways that you can make your very own needle from things you may have around your beading studio. 26 gauge, 34 gauge, and just a little scrap of Softflex wire. Okay, so let me keep stringing on this side. This is regular Ceylon that I have on this side. It doesn't really matter what it is, right? Let's put this carnelian on. These carnelian nuggets, sometimes the way that they were drilled, they have a nice big hole on the edges like this, but it's kind of hard to go through because they taper down on the inside. So let me get my needle that I made, and we may have to just send these through a couple at a time. Let's take a look. I'm going to use the 34 gauge needle, and I'm going to use this one right here. Let's see. So yeah, see how that helps that through? Perfect. Let's see if it goes through this one. With flat saucers like this, this hole is a little too small, so that's no. But with some flat saucers, you can see in this piece that I've designed for the Great Bead Extravaganza kit, I have intentionally repeated that saucer shape I like that shape a lot in stuff that I do. So, do I have something else that's kind of saucery that has a big hole? I do. This guy. So let's get that on there. And now let's try and take this last strand through. I like to make these needles with really big eyes because it's easy to open up. See how I opened it up? And now I'm putting it through. Yes, Deborah, I can see you. Looks like you're up and commenting. I know that emergency thing. I hope it wasn't too loud on the broadcast, but we knew it was coming. Okay, so here we go. Here's these three. I like the way this looks. Yeah, sorry. Let me rearrange a little bit more. There we go, like that. So good. Let me go to this side and let me get this side as far as I need it to over here. This one I doubled over. I've got a needle on this end already. So let me hold these two together. I think I'm going to bring this one as a nice large hole. This one here has a nice large hole. I think one of these I'm going to pull out again, like I said I would. I didn't need all of these. And I'm going to leave it down here for that. And maybe that bead or something. See how that bead just wants to go there, I think. Okay. So here's that one. Let's put on maybe this cylinder, this drum bead I like a lot. And if you feel like you need to tie a knot. Doesn't matter. Knots only help strengthen this piece. I think I want something small. Let me see if I can get this in there. This basket bone, what we call a basket bead because of the weaving. It's hollow inside, so sometimes it's a little hard to get the beads through. But there we go. Good and good. I'm going to put maybe a smaller bead on top of this if I can find one with a large hole. And then I'm going to tie a knot. Or, I can just tie a knot because it'll cover with a large hole bead. It doesn't matter. So this one here and go through and like this. Just so that all of the strands are together. Okay. And it doesn't matter if it goes kind of down in that bead hole. It just kind of holds everything where you want it to. So I'm going to do this. Okay. Like this. And tighten. There we go. And so now if I wanted to reduce a thread like this short one right here, it's not really serving me any purpose. So I think I'm going to glue right here. I'm not going to cut this away yet, right? I don't want to cut any strands away until I'm done, right? So, but I do want to glue it. So let me get my, this GS is kind of messy, right? Your tube looks like this, doesn't it? Mine does too. Let me just use a paper towel. I should store it to avoid this if I store it with the tip pointing up in the air when the lid is on. It's better. But let me just get some of this goo off of here with my paper towel. Happens to all of us. Such good glue, but such a pain to deal with sometimes. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue there. I want to be careful not to get it on my bead board. Let me get a baggie for underneath there. And I'm going to put a drop of glue on this knot too, just in case, just prepping for the future. Now where's my lid? I wiped off tip of the glue. Let's put that in. Wipe off the excess. And there we go. Okay, and let me store it tip up in the air. All right, so let's put on some more beads. What do I have over here that I like? I like them all. Those wood beads. Let's look at these double-stranded, or string with this double-stranded here. Maybe it's time to add this one. I think I want to add this lighter one, not the darker one, because I've got that dark bead there. Again, I could use my needles to pull this through, but I don't think I do need it. Now this strand, I'll cut it away later or do something. I'm just going to let it kind of float out there now. Okay. How about this one? Can I get it through? These are hollow too. I might need the needle. Yeah, there's no way I'm getting that through without a needle. Open the eye of that needle. Put it through here. Okay. Let me grab, I'm going to put the little ticker along the bottom just for a little bit so you can see I've got that coupon code for you folks today as a special viewer only gift. This isn't on any of our other socials. Did I lose my needle? That's the thing. If you lose your needle, you can just make another one, which I think I may have to do. But I'll put this through. You use coupon code episode 5, and episode 5, the episode 5 coupon code will knock 25%. That was generous of me, if I do say. Off of Vintage Finds, Tribal and Trade, Ceylon, and our semi-precious Earth and Gemstones collection. But that's today only. So you can take a look and shop. It will be active until midnight tonight, 10/4/23. Let me see if I can get this in. I may have to either find my needle. There we go. I kind of wanted, I'm not a huge heart fan, though I like them. I don't often use them in my work, unless it's more of kind of an ethnic heart or something like that. More, or a Sacred Heart, stuff like that. But I don't know. I like this wood a lot. I just think it's interesting. So I'm going to leave it. It's a little figural, which I like. So let me make this side match. I'm going to go back and forth just to make sure that things are balanced. I may also just leave out that strand because I might not need it. Okay, so I'm just going to, I think I want to put in one of these too because I've got it on the other side. So let me do this. Yeah, that looks nice. Let me put one of these. I've got one there, so I'm going to put one here. Let's see, are we evened up yet? Not quite. When I'm using something that has a large hole like this one, this is one of our sand cast beads, I want to put something that has that's a small bead around it so it doesn't wiggle around too much on the thread. Let me see what this looks like. Yeah, that's okay there. Okay, so now we're even again. I think I'm going to bring that large bead up. And it looks like there's a question here about the Ceylon, gluing Ceylon. You know, and Anissa, you're saying that I think it was you, Anissa, or Audrey had that question about the GS. The GS, maybe you want to use a little bit more of the GS to make sure it dries. You shouldn't have any trouble with it. You could also glue with Zap, which I use Zap a lot to make the needles on the ends of my threads. The Zap, though, stiffens. So if you use Zap glue, like on this knot, know that the Zap is really going to stiffen this thread. I like to use the GS Hypo cement, and make sure you're using the GS Hypo. GS makes a couple of other glues that we actually don't carry. There's a fabric glue that they do, but we want to use the Hypo cement for this. So you shouldn't have any trouble with it. Maybe give it another go round. You could, again, use Zap. Zap would be fine on the Ceylon, but do know that Zap is stiff, makes things kind of stiffen. I'm going to put this bead on. I'm going to put this Ashanti saucer on. I wish I had a second Ashanti saucer to stack. Let me see if I can put my hands on. Yeah, look, here they are. Yes, awesome. Here's a few Ashanti saucers. Those look nice. Ashanti saucers, I think, are great for this kind of project for sure. I like these blue ones a lot. Put this back there. Let me see what we've got. And the code is episode 5. I'll put this up real quick. There we go, for a few. I'm using glue, so that's a really good question. Why use glue? And I think Karen just added it, or asked the question, or Kim did. Why use glue? If, Kim, I'm going to come back later and just take away one of these strands and not weave it back in, my knot will be glued and held together, so it won't come undone. The strand that I'm cutting away won't come undone, right? So it's just for security's sake, right? I'll glue those knots like at the bottom of these. If I did any bottom knots like this here, when I strung the tassels and I finished and tied a knot, I also put some glue on the bottom of these knots so I could cut it right at the knot there. So I glue when it's an ending knot. That's what I call it, a closure or an ending knot. Okay, so let's go ahead and and Lori, I'll show you the semi-precious. I'll go on at the end and walk you through, but it's the Gem and Earthstones, Tribal and Trade, Vintage Finds, and Ceylon. Okay. So let me put this one on. Again, I like doubling up those Ashantis. So we're getting close. Good thing. I'm stringing a little slowly today. I think I'm trying to really think Put my thinker on. So I'm going to need about an inch for the closure. So this really only needs about an inch more of stringing. Okay, so let me go ahead. Maybe I want to use that. No, I think I want to use, maybe I'll put that on and maybe I'll use this one as the closure. I don't know. I'm going to string this on because that just feels like the right bead. It just does. That, and then maybe, I haven't used any of these really beautiful serpentine pieces. Oh, someone was saying I need some brass. I have this little African brass beauty right here. Let me see if I can get one of these baskets on without a needle. Yeah. I'll get one of these. More Ashanti saucers. These kind of have a funky curved profile, so I want the curve going up. Sometimes they're a little flatter. Sometimes they have a little bit of a curve. One more, maybe this. I think it's time to check the length on both of these. So here's that. Here's that. This one's going to come out just a little short. Yeah, that's about right. I need like one more bead here. Let me put this sand cast on. Okay, so that's my closure. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie all of this in kind of like a slip knot because we're going to revisit this on our last episode to close it. Okay. Let's take a look though at the front. Let me get rid of all this business. And let's use some of these other like random strands that I've left. Okay, you get a good view of what this is looking like. Right? Let me zoom out just a little. I want to show you how I might incorporate this big piece because I feel like this wants to go there. I feel like this really counterbalances this piece over here. So I'm going to grab this strand that I left out from here. And I'm going to start stringing it. And let's just use some small beads because I've got a taper, right? Because there's a small area there. And then I'm going to taper up. The end of this cord has Zap glue on it. See, it's stiff. So I don't need a needle. I'm going to use one of these multi-strand, the Checkmates tiles, because I also may come down. I may want that bead hole later, so we'll see. I'm going to put some fairly small beads on here. These are 8/0. That's a 4mm Botswana agate. Maybe I'll do one of these. I don't even know what that is. Some semi-precious that's going there. Now see, I want to bring this strand up to about where that hole is going to be. So I need a few more beads here. This is like a classic Helen Dietz move from one of these necklaces. Almost there. One more bead. Doesn't matter at all which one it is. There we go. Now let me slide that thread through this bead. Yeah, sits there just great. All right, now I'm going to string it from down here and it's going to end up over here somewhere. Okay, so maybe I'll put a large bead like right up next to it. That's a little jarring. Kind of competes. Let me put a little bit of a smaller bead. Maybe that one. Don't think about it too much, right? Just, she says as she thinks about it too much. There we go. Yeah, good. So see, I need, I don't know, about an inch or so more for now. Okay. So this one. This one here. I love these coiled spacers from our friends at TR Cast. We're getting some fresh, some really new, nice metal spacer beads in, but nothing is as good. I just love that little spacer. So now I want to find a bead. See here, look at right here. I put a super duo on there. Can you see that? Let me get a little closer. This is just why you want a 2-hole bead on there, right? So I'm gonna come in and make this strand meet that super duo. And I want to do it with some small beads. I don't want to distract too much, but I want to make my way over to that super duo. Okay. Now, getting closer. I really, you know what it feels like it wants to do before it gets to that super duo? I feel like it needs to be anchored. So I'm just going to wrap it around. I'm going to wrap this thread around and I'm going to come through that A dot. So it's just like a loop. Because I want it to stay put. So see, there's my loop. There we go. Tightening it up. See, and now it's going to stay there. It's not going to go anywhere. That's great. That's what I want. Now I'll put a few more small beads and I'm aiming for this super duo. Okay, and that's why I like putting 2-hole beads, even if I have no idea what the heck I'm going to do with them. I throw them in, because if you don't use the extra hole, it doesn't matter. It just adds a little bit of texture. But if you need that extra hole, like I do right here, get this through. There it goes. See, there's the thread. And there it goes. So that's, let me get kind of tight in there so you can see it. Karen, that's really super sweet of you to say. I actually haven't thought this out. I mean, I thought it out in that, yeah, I put the super duo in there and thinking I might use it. But as I started to come down and weave this, I spied the super duo and I'm like, yes, that's what I'm going to use. So don't be afraid of, like I said, adding those little multiple hole beads in there. Can you see it? The super duo is right there. Now, where I'm going to go from here, see, I can see this knot right there, and I don't really like seeing it. Remember how I was nestling this little hand right there, and maybe like this little heart thing right there? So I'm going to keep stringing with this thread. And I want small beads now. Small beads. A dots here, maybe some padres. but I don't want them to stick out too much. I'm low on my little beads because I think it was during a show. One of my little bead dishes dropped to the ground. So all of the tiny beads for this project, or a good portion of them, not all of them because I've got some of them, are on the floor underneath the stringing desk. And I have not had the heart to put them back together. So they're down there. Okay, so see how this strand is coming across that bead? I'm going to put a bead that kind of has a bigger hole on. I'm going to put this hand and I'm just going to go through that ring. I'm going to go back through kind of that large hold spacer to tighten everything up. See there? Like that. That's just going to sit there. I'm going to put a few more beads on here. This one. Small ones again. 8/0. That one didn't want to go. Maybe like 3. Then I'm going to try and find some air in here. Poke that thread to the back. And tighten this up. So see that? That sits right here pretty nicely. Here on the back, I have just enough room. I'm going to add a few more beads to kind of fill up that space. And then we're going to tie off this strand. Just like that. And I'm going to make it meet. There's some beads that have nice big holes right there. Small but large holes. So I'm going to string this and this. There we go. I'm going to push these beads up. Send my strand through here. There we go. Now I'm just going to tie like a half hitch knot here. So I'm going to go around the back. That's where your tweezers come in handy. Around the back, making sure everything is tight. Knot that through. Tighten it down. Then I'm going to come back in the opposite way. Make my loop. And see, I'm tying that knot in between these 2 beads that have a nice large hole. Now, so it'll kind of hide the knot. Before I tighten that knot, I'm going to get, really, she has leaked out again. Yeah, fantastic. Grab, just kind of put that tip right in between those 2 beads. A generous amount of glue there. Tighten that up, push that knot down with my tweezers. And I'm going to make sure that everything is glued. Now I'm going to wait. I'm not going to cut that away. This glue really needs to settle in to that. So we're just going to let it settle and not cut it away. But here on the front, you can see what we did. Oh, had it upside down. There we go. All right. So you can see we've got that hand there. Let me zoom out just a little bit. So what else looks like, and I've got a few minutes, so I'm going to, this here, see how that's flopping around? This needs to be stabilized, okay? And I think what I'll do, this is fine here, right? We've come around, that's secure. I might do the same thing with that piece there, right? I think so. I'm not quite sure yet, so I'm going to let that simmer. But I do know that this needs, let me see if I can add it in. We need another piece here to have this sit kind of right there where we want it to go. And remember, I put that two hole Checkmates tile is right there. So I'm going to grab some thread. I'm going to use regular Ceylon, I don't know, about a yard or so. Where are my scissors? Who took my scissors? Who took my snips? I think they're back here. No, seriously, who took my snips? They were just sitting right here. Hang on a second. Some demo. I can't even cut my thread. Hang on. Oh, there's a pair. Thank goodness. Yeah, it's time to clean this place up. But then I clean and I can't find anything either. So, what are you going to do? Let me add some thread. I'm going to add it right here. Okay. So I'm just going to come in around where I see a spot. I may or may not use this other long piece of thread. So I cut plenty. So I'm going to the center and I'm tying my knot. I can do an overhand knot or I can do a square knot, right over left, left over right. Because all of this will be covered by this bead that has the large hole. Okay. So I'm going to string from here. Andy just jumped on. Andy, your thank you note goes in the mail today. Thank you a million times for those exquisite buttons you sent me. I don't even know what to say. They're so beautiful. Thank you so much for thinking of me. This, let me get a little bit of, maybe I'll just do a little bit with the GS here because I don't have my zap. Do I? I'm going to get a little bit of a needle on the end of this. Oh, wait, no, here's my zap right here. That's what I want to make my needle. Let me just make a quick one. Little bit of zap glue. Push my thread through. We're going to let that sit for just a second while it sets up. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to make sure that I have enough small beads for this. Move them a little closer. Yeah, there we go. So let me get my small beads on here. I don't want to glue my thread to my fingers though. I would let it sit just a little bit longer, but this is demo time, not real jewelry making time. There we go. Do you do that? Do you get impatient and glue things to your fingers? I do that all the time. So here's my few beads that I've got right here. Maybe that's one too many. And I'm going to go through that check tile like that. I'll have to show you folks sometimes the buttons that Andy sent me from her collection. They're really gorgeous. I'm already planning what I'm going to do with that set of green. That's so thoughtful. My goal is to have so many vintage buttons that I can't use them in my lifetime. And I think I've achieved that goal. There we go, some small ones. So see how I went through that one? Now I'm going to come at this strand. I'm going to attach it around like this strand here and kind of come around this bead so I kind of cage it a little bit. Does that make sense? So let me put a few on here. Again, I want small beads. I guess, I don't know. Let me put on a bigger bead. It doesn't really matter, I suppose. Whatever feels right. Now I want to go around, I think I'm going to go around this pearl strand. So I'm going to put a bead that has a large hole right here, go around the pearls. Those are those pearls I knotted a while back on here, right? Then I'm going to come through that 6/0 and see, tighten everything down. See how that pulls it in, right? Now I'm just going to come in and maybe I'll join it right here and go up and over into that. The beads will tell you where the path needs to be in order to hold everything together. Yeah, I'm doing okay on time. This will be my last trick for this. One more. Then I'll send, I think I'm going to send this strand up through. This bead hole is huge, so there's plenty of room for that thread. There we go. I think this thread also wants to come up through that 6/0, so I'll let it. Looks like where the path of the thread wants to go, if I can get it in there. There it goes. Again, all of this is without a needle, right? It's just the Zap glue that I put on the end. Get it tight in there. Now I need to bring it around right there. I wish I had a 2-hole bead, but it's all right. I need a small one. A bigger one. And then one more. Maybe this. That one right there. Okay. Let me go through. I want to go through this big hole bead. Come on. I'm the boss here. There it goes. All right. There we go. See, that's nice and secure there. And I still have this strand that I think I am going to come down and weave with. Okay. So, and then this, now this side, get some of these strands out of the way. This side is looking a little slim, so I will use these strands here and I'll string them up to make this visual weight look like this visual weight. And maybe I'll add in, that's too dark. That's too dark. Maybe I'll add that in on that side. But what we've got here, let me clear the decks because it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to leave that thing out. And let's see where we're going to go with this next time. So what we did today was we added these beads to the back. Let me get a little, zoom out a little here. Whoops, that's zooming in. There we go. We added these beads to the back, going up to the back for the closure, which we're going to tackle next time when we finish this sucker. I added some thread here. I left some thread out here. I left some thread out here. That is may or may not going to come down and around. There we go. This is asymmetrical here in the back, which I like. I think it makes sense to me. You could continue all of this multiple strand, like I was saying. I could even take one of these strands now up and wrap some smaller beads like around this to make it a little more visually together. I might, I don't know, maybe. That wouldn't be a bad idea. This strand, I think I'll finish stringing here. We added this hand to the center, and we're debating. That might be gilding the lily. The hand, maybe I'll save that for the back. I don't know. The hand, I don't want to pull focus from the hand because it's kind of cool. I'm going to add this one into the side with these. And then I still have this strand here that I could string up to the top. So we're in pretty good shape with our piece. Let me raise the camera just a little bit. This will be the time for you to take a screenshot if you're thinking of doing so. Put that at the back. Arrange this nicely. There we go. But I think it's not bad, right? You can see it's shaping up. It's really shaping up. And I think the length and the size is going to be right. And I think the scale is good. This still, I feel like this section is a little abrupt where it just does this and then it just goes to those beads. I like it, but I'm not in love with it. So again, maybe just doing like a meandering strand that might meander like through the beads or around the beads or around the strand of the string material there, that might fix it for me. I don't know. I have to let it simmer. Something like this, you can't, or at least I can't rush it. I really do need to let the beads kind of sit. But we made some progress today, for sure. Just a reminder, this is the piece that I am doing for the Great Bead Extravaganza, a very, very abbreviated version of what I've got here, but I'm going to show you. This will launch on that Friday, the 20th, before the Great Bead Extravaganza. I'm going to show you how to use wax linen. That'll come with the kit, how to attach, kind of do an assemblage piece with these 3 beads. And then the stringing. And the stringing is extremely simple. And you folks know how to do this macrame. Do a macrame loop. And I've just done a button here for the end. So let me put this back. Let me put me back on here too. There we go. Oh, friends, thank you so much. I'm so glad you like it. I like it too. I'm pretty pleased with the way that this is coming out. I just wrote the description. So a couple of things, and I'll show you where to find everything on the website. I just wrote my class description for my retreat that I'm doing in France next year at La Cascade. It's going to start on May 30th and go through June 6th. There's going to be more info about that coming up soon, but essentially it's this necklace. we're going to do this type of a piece. So if this really strikes your fancy and you want to do something like that in France, in the south of France, it's going to be coming up soon. We're going to, it's only, I think only 9 participants. It's going to be a small group. We're going to go to the French flea markets. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a week full of learning. So that's going to come out. Yes, you can take the picture of the necklace here. There we go. Hopefully you get that right there. There we are. There's a question here, how heavy would a piece like this be? That's why I'm making these kind of short or kind of small like this, so it'll sit kind of nicely on the neck. If it was really, really long, a lot longer, I would put a counterbalance on the back here so it weighs correctly. Janice is the same with her neck. So maybe something this big, you might want to scale back a little bit. Do something maybe that's like this a bit more. Yeah, there's this bed bug, right? The bed bug France situation. Hopefully it'll all be sorted out by the time we go to France. Let's hope, because I'm going. Bugs or no. And this kit will come out. It's going to drop on the 20th of October for the Great Bead Extravaganza. So stay tuned to our newsletter for that. So let me show you. I'm going to, first, let me do this. Hang on. The coupon code is this. Episode 5 is the coupon code, all one word. 25% on Ceylon, Vintage Finds, Tribal and Trade, and Gem and Earthstones. Let me show you. Let's head on over to the website here real quick. Let me share my screen. Here, that's not it. Hang on, present. Share my screen. Share screen. Here it is. Bam. Okay, so you can see here, right on the front page, we do have our October savings, and this coupon doesn't combine with those. I'm sorry, it doesn't. However, if you go here to shop, and we start at Beads and Gems, all the Tribal and Trade right here, the Vintage Finds next to it, and if you scroll down to Gem and Earthstones, those are all on sale. If you go back up to shop and you go to String Materials, you find our Ceylon, which is right here. Click on that. You can sort by size and color and all that good stuff. So all of that great stuff, you can use this coupon code today only, episode 5 at checkout, and save 25% on all of those. So I hope that makes it clear. I will be, so our next episode will be our final episode. We'll talk counterbalance. We'll talk closure, how to put the clasp on, and we'll wrap it all up. So next month will be our final episode of this master class, right? It's going to be fun. So, my dear friends, don't forget you can find us on all of our socials at beadshop.com, Facebook, Insta, Pinterest. You can find us all over social media at beadshop.com. If you have questions, hit us up at info@beadshop.com. Drea gets right back to you. She's amazing, not like me, who sometimes let my emails languish a bit. Guilty for sure. And that's it. So, my dear friends, I'll see you on Friday for free tip. Got some fun things going on there. So many drops. My head is full of ideas for you. So stay tuned to the newsletters. Make sure you get the newsletters so that you know what's going on. You'll get all of the information for the Great Bead Extravaganza, the Great Bead Extravaganza kit. Janice has a kit that's dropping that's so quintessentially perfect to wear for fall. You're going to want to wear it with everything. It's such a great one. I just shipped it off to our fulfillment. So that'll be up very soon. Janice and I are going to do an episode about that together. It's going to be super fun. So that's my story, my friends. I will see you on Friday for Free Tip Friday. And thank you so much for joining me for episode 5 of Advanced Stringing Masterclass with Kate Richbourg. Thanks so much, everybody. Talk to you soon.